Good morning everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to continue working on my title pages. I've got to start doing the beading and embellishing and work out some stitches on my ocean journal. And I was wanting to have a play with this stamp. I found it when I was chatting to you in the last video. It's a Tim Holtz pack and I spotted Enjoy the Journey, which is something I sort of say to people when you comment and you are either about to embark on something in the stitching or you're new and you've just found this whole world of stitching. So I thought, that's just beautiful. I really love that. The only thing I'm concerned about is it might be too big or not quite look right. So I do want to explore that. I've got my field notes tribute to Edith Holden here as well. And I thought, well, while I've got my beads out, I'd look at doing something with that as well. So yeah, that's where we're at. Firstly, when I sat down here, I noticed I hadn't put any stitching through this area. So I'll bring it up to the camera. I've stitched the clouds. If you look at the top here, you can see some white stitching. I'm yet to iron out my little guides. I've then started working my way through the ocean and trying to subtly match the thread to the fabric. So I need to do a little bit more through there. As I've got down, I've started my stitching with a little bit of movement, so bumping it along. I had a tiny little piece here of this blue, where is it? This blue crochet, and it just looked odd. So I ended up removing it and went and got a bigger piece from the other end and inserted it in behind the one I did with you guys on the camera. So there's more turbulence out there than I had originally had with you guys. And now this is all stitched and I've sort of changed the angle of my stitching so that it looks like the water's coming forward. I think that's about it. I removed the little flowers. They just weren't quite right. I think the problem was they were blue. And everything up here is blue. So I think I want to stay in these sorts of tones down here. So yeah, I've got to rework that. I probably need to find something to slide into that little space. Yeah, so a few little things to do, but let's just get this stitched. Now, I'm not sure what day you're watching my video. I haven't got my little calendar, so happy whatever day it is. Where's my needles? I need it dark, so we might put the knot down this end. And then because it's variegated thread, I'm going to try and be a bit sneaky and get the dark. That needle's eye is just too narrow, so why make it hard for myself? Come on. Could have probably done this before I started filming, but you know how it goes. Just race in here like a bull at a gate. Grab the iPad. You'd be thinking, oh, that's an unusual device. Okay. Now, I might start just in behind that blue lace. And then just running stitch. It's as simple as that. It just adds another layer of, oh, I've unthreaded the needle. Are you serious? I tell you guys, is this the start of a day that is going to be marred with one step forward, one step sideways, you know, those days where you think you're going forward and then suddenly something happens and you've got to stop for a moment and do that. And yeah, quite possibly one of those days. Not that I have anything exciting planned for my day, but you never know. So now I might just drop down. I've got a bit of thread left and my guess is it's starting to go pale. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to come in the back of that row of stitching And just do another curve. Oh, why are you sticking up in the air? You should be under all those layers, my friend. So let's catch you down. Oop. Oh, I trimmed my fingernails too, so now I can't pick up a needle. Oh, there you go. There's a one step sideways again. I'm thinking, why can't I get it? I've got my pink mat out because I plan to slush around some ink. I've picked up the Stays On Timber Brown. I thought I might make my stamps subtle and then stick with that colour scheme through the journal so they're not bold. I think my Edith piece has got a lot of black and the sort of a grey tone for stitching. So whether I need to go and dig out another colour for that one, but I'd like to, I guess, stamp a few things and place them on there. And then I think I'm pretty much ready to attach them to the covers. But there's no rush. They can be done anytime. They can just be collected together and then, you know, join them all up. That's the beauty of the concertina scenario is there's no rush to actually stitch them on your page, your big base piece, especially if you're doing the shape that Rachel and Sarah are doing, the big long one. You can create little concertina stitcheries, little panels of stitchery, and then they get attached to your concertina with invisible stitch, especially if you don't want the whole thing sitting on your lap. So it is an easy way to, I'm nearly running out of stitch, an easy way to create. There we go. Actually, all the slow stitch journals are pretty easy. It's very rare, I think, you'd actually stitch with the thing sitting on your lap, your journal. You just create a little base piece and away you go. And then come back to your book and insert it when you're ready. That's good. I just wanted one more strand of cotton to meander through those waves a little. Okay. And I thought if I'm going to do this stamp, it'd be up here, unless it's too big. So let's have a look in here for a little scrap of something. Might use this. It's nice and, it's calico that's been dyed. And then once it gets wet, it goes all wrinkly. So it's good because it gives you that old feel. Now, I need my block. Where's my block? Hold that thought, guys. The block. That just stabilises everything. It just sits there. For those of you who have never experienced the world of stamps, lots of ink. Nicely covered. And then in we go. And stamp your stamp on a spongy surface. You'd think your instinct is to go onto a hard surface, but no, use something like a book. Like open the book up so you've got the pages of the book. So there's a little bit of sponge there. I've got my wall mat plus this plastic thing. So I can feel there's sponge. And then just give it a moment for your ink to go into the fabric, which it didn't. I had a feeling there was no ink there. Let's have another go. Unless my ink pad, that looks better, is getting a little low, possible, but just give it a moment to soak in. You've got to allow that ink to connect with the fibres of the fabric, so don't be too quick. It's not quite, well, it's not bad. Do I do it again? I'm wasting perfectly good fabric. Let's have another go. It's just a piece of calico. Girl, go and dye some more. You're all right. I'd say my ink pad is getting a little low. There's still enough there, but seems to be through the middle that we're not making contact. So I might just apply a little extra pressure. That's better. Okay, so let's just put this away. Let's see if it's the right size. If it's not, and it's a bit too big, I might have to use it somewhere else and come up with something else. But I just wanted to, I guess, oh, I see a nice little bit. Where's those bits over there? I'll see what it looks like. It's such an itty bitty page, so sometimes scale can be an issue when you're that small. It's so big, isn't it? I think if it was that size, I'd be happier. And then I'd want the word journal instead of journey. Like, I'll know what it's about, but no one else will. Maybe it can be used elsewhere, but I just don't think it's right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but I think it's a little bit overpowering for the scale of the piece. I could put it down here. Yeah, but see, nah. No, rejected. All right. I don't think there was any other words that caught my eye. There probably are elsewhere in my stash, but oh, hang on, here's some words. Every adventure is worthwhile. Never lose your sense of wonder. Don't mind that. Let's try that one. That's me. Like, there's always a sense of wonder. I'm always looking in reference books to find out what the hang is that, whether it be a plant or a bird. And I think I've got a little bit of fabric here left. Never lose your sense of wonder. That's better. Yeah, better size, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one, guys. Don't worry about commenting. I've already figured it out. Don't need your assistance. Oh my goodness. Let's put it on straight, so at least, because we've got one little piece of fabric left. Can the girl print it with this last little bit? Oh my goodness, the pressure. If not, we're going to have to go and dye some fabric. All right, sneak it into that corner and down. Hold. Let the ink soak, especially with these fine little letters. Okay, we ready? Oh. Okay, I'm feeling a moment coming on. Put it all away, got a mess. Where's my little scissors? And this still feels big. Like I can get it narrower. Yeah, I need to get it a little. That's going to be hard to rip. Got it. A little bit more. Didn't quite rip, but that's okay because it's now starting to look a little interesting with its less of a regular it's disintegrating in front of my fingers. Oh, seriously, let's just trim that. I think that's okay. Yep, there we go, done. I love it. Okay, so that's good. I'll just stitch that in, probably just with some little blue stitches around. Maybe I use the little variegated one. That's a pretty thread. That's just one of those wonder fills, I think, that's variegated. Not sure where the original roll is. There we go, some advice. Never lose your sense of wonder. Let's do just some little running stitches. Wasn't sure how I was going to put field notes or because it's so tiny. So I thought, oh, we know it's field notes. I did toss around by the sea. I had all sorts of oceany type of little sayings, and I thought, no, I have to stamp each letter out, which is okay. I could do that. I might just scoot down to the bottom and just run across this here, so it's not so boxy. It's a little bit more random. Excellent. It's good. Got some words on without it overpowering. The next thing I want to do is have a look at the beads and start placing some of them. I've got my little shells, and that'll then give me something to stitch this afternoon. And there we go. It's in. Beautiful. Now, needle and thread. Yes, I'm still here. I went quiet, didn't I? Look at the ink on my fingers. Luckily it's dry. There'll be fingerprints everywhere here. I'm going to do my sneaky little knot because I've got a bead needle, and it's just nice to know that I can carry on beading without the thread falling out of the end of the needle. So the plan is to work into the background. Get rid of this too. Some beads that suit where we may be. So we can start with these blue ones. Yeah. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend they're like light dancing on the water. So it's just, I need a thimble. Fingers getting a little tender, too much stitching. Please go through, yes. So matching the zones, once again, like I did with the threads, just do some little clusters of beads. Just makes the background look so much more interesting. Sets of 2, sets of 3, single ones. Just sort of popping around in the background there with some ocean coloured beads, and then I'll come down into the crests of all the waves, so that'll bring in the white beads and the clear beads. I'll just do a few in different colours just to give you guys an idea if you have decided to just because you feel like it, stitching a bit of an ocean scene. So you never know when you can use it. You might start a journal just with some stitching in it and you can pop it in. Doesn't necessarily have to be a themed journal. It can just be a collection of your work when you feel inspired by something. So that'll do. Just a couple little beads there. 2 knots, girl. Now let's just put them aside. What else did I grab? I've got some little pearly ones. Oh, they're really fine. I don't know if my needle will go through these little guys. Let's have a try. I might have to get Reg out. Oh no, that's good. Carry on. Okay, so let's drop down to the crest of the wave. Actually, there's a little wave at the top where I just was. Let's come up here. And anchor my stitch. And pick up a bead and start again. So it's pretty simple. I know I've got clear ones in my stash of beads, so I should get some of them out too. I won't do that with you guys because A, you won't see them. I'm flat out seeing them. But they will scatter in amongst these little white pearly ones. It just helps it sort of bounce the light around a little. They're especially good in that area. This is like the foam on the wave. You just keep building. You can put French knots in there as well, just to make it even more interesting. I won't be putting any beads through the sky zone. I'll keep that as it is, nice and simple. I like how the sky was patches of fabric too. It sort of makes it look a little bit different from the lineal lines that we were using in the ocean. That worked out really well. Considering I was a bit nervous that I had these little squares of fabric and they weren't long enough to go across. So actually worked out okay. All right, so there's just a little cluster of white beads sneaking across that little piece of crocheting. Okay, so that would continue there, that would continue there. Ow, and then I'd put the clear ones I was talking about in as well. Okay, now I'm just going to follow the lines of my stitching because some were coming in this way and some were coming this way. I want to emphasize the fact that the water is sneaking up the beach a little bit there. So I'm going to have a shape, a line of beads that is heading in that curve shape. I should be putting 2 stitches in every bead. I can hear my grandmother on my shoulder talking to me. No, Grandma, it's not a bloomin' wedding dress, but it is a cover. So hands do touch as I pack it into a bag to take it somewhere. So I probably should be a little bit more mindful of the strength of the front cover. I might end up going back through those and just doing another stitch because I'd hate for them to, you know, break off. And the quality of my beads, like who knows, there might be rough surfaces in there and the thread just breaks. I hope not. You can use proper beading thread, but it's hard to come by. It's bloomin' expensive. Neo thread, I think it's called. I do have some, but this will do. If I was selling a piece of work or it was going on to clothing or, you know, and you wanted to make sure that it didn't break down, I'd probably look at investing into. But if your work's, you know, somewhere safe, I wouldn't stress about it. So I'm just trying to change the line of my beads now. I've sort of got some creeping back a little bit back into the wave instead of it being a distinct line. Trying to do a bit of random here. And I think I'll keep the beads a bit thin here because it's bubbly here and bubbly where my thumb is, but through there it's a little bit finer. The water is flatter. It's my theory anyway. Having said that, I just put 2 beads on. Oh well, they're staying. And my sneaky knots come undone. Okay. I think we got the general gist of that. I'll just use the last of my thread. Then we might look at fixing that gap, making sure there's not more lacy bits we want to add, because I do have a piece sitting here on the desk that I want to explore and a bit of tatting. So, okay. I've got some stencils too that are like shrubbery type foliage stencils. They'd work really well just by getting your ink again and a little brush to rub. Let me just grab the brush. Hang on. Here, one of these. I think the kids use them to put foundation on. I don't wear foundation, so I'm really not into the whole makeup thing. But they come in different sizes and it's really soft. So when you've got your stencil, those plastic stencils, you can rub your ink on and it doesn't damage your stencil. So that might be something you can look for in your stash, that maybe you've got some words on a stencil if you don't have any stamps. Okay, so we'll continue playing with water and beads and all that. So let's fix this gap. What are we going to put? Get all the ink out of the way. Just need a little bit. Maybe we use a bit of this. A few little words. Just need a patch in there of a sandy-like colour, that's all. Oh, getting hot. I'll take my cardigan off. Just not quite fitting right. Just need to tuck it in. There we go. That's better. And then tuck it under there. Tuck it under there. Pull it down a little bit and consider it patched. There we go. Now, let's have a look. We'll come back to the shells. Let's just get this out of my system. Remember, I was filming and I started fiddling with all of this. So I just want to have a little look. I think there's potential of this. I did nibble a piece out. There was like some little flowers. They found a home. But I'm thinking I can do something with this. They're really heavily stitched, these little tiny sequins and beads. So I'm thinking I can just be brave and cut through. Yes, I've just sliced some sequins, but they'll just sort of disintegrate and fall off. But it's given me a little interesting piece. And it's just saved hours of stitching. So I'm going to put that little guy there. These here caught my eye. Aren't they pretty? That might be useful. I like, my instinct was to do some Jennifer stitching, but I really dig this piece. It's a little bit fancy. Be plenty of time to do all sorts of stitching. And this here looks like a glamorous little morsel. Look at that. Is it too much? Oh, I do like that. It's going over the water, but it's too much, isn't it? If that little guy wasn't as big and they're a bit smaller, I'd consider it. But we'll keep it to one side because I think I'd like that in the book. Are there any other little... What about this little one? I'm just disintegrating this. I'm just pulling it to bits. Another little piece. Nope. No. It's just not working. All right, well, walk away. What else have we got here? We've got a bit of tatting. Oh, that always works. There's always room for tatting. Actually, look, that there looks like plants to me. Very elongated. Could be something growing. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Probably wouldn't see it if I blended over to there. So I think I need to come it back this way. So grass is closer. I like that. What else have we got? What about some of these? Oh, goodness knows where I picked this all up from. It's a bit bridal industry, formal wear industry. I just can't help myself when I see flowery type images. Gee, that looks like it could be coral. Especially when there's fine little sprigs coming off of it. Yeah, I don't mind that. So I think that's the thing. I need it to be finer. That was all just too thick. Oh, look at that piece there. I think this whole glittery stuff might set the scene for the whole piece, the whole little journal. Here we go. What have we got here? No, there's all sorts in there. Like that little piece there, it'd be good. I've lost my piece. That little guy. Let's nibble him out. It's getting very glamorous. Maybe I pull him up there and him into there, and then bring the tatting over to there to build up a little grassy knoll. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So I need to pin that, put lots of stitches in that, this little guy. So we're working right into the foreground of the piece now, and that tatting. So the little bit of bush that you see as you're walking to the beach on the edge of the dune. I like that because this is now free for maybe something or not. What's this little guy? He was one. Oh, maybe that there. Let's just trim you out and see. Yeah, just balances it a little bit. So there's this odd little shrub growing over here, and it's good because it's not too thick that it's going to impact. So that's there. All right, put it away, girls. Stop, stop, stop. But I'm going to keep it close by for this project because I like the idea of having that gold come through. Now, shells. Shells. What else have we got in here? I ordered these from Colourstream when I got my dyed ribbons. That's the company that's based on an island, Macleay Island, just off the coast from Brisbane. Turquoisey sequins. They're probably a bit much, but we'll keep them nearby. I can sprinkle some little gold guys over here to balance that. So that's good. Got a couple golds and another one. There's a pink. Don't need that. That's an interesting colour, but doesn't match. All right. Needle and thread. Let's play with some shells. Look at that. I'm threading the needle before. I better get Reg out. Thin. Come on, Reg. Here he is. I was chatting to Gaz about, packaging our parcels to you guys for the Christmas panels that we released. And I said I could do with like a little sticker that, says, thank you for your purchase. And then I thought, no, that's just more stuff, just more stuff. Anyway, then it dawned on me, what would be good if I was to invest in more stuff, is a sticker that said, Reg was here. When we were kids, if you were a little rat bag, you might have written with a pen somewhere, CM was here, or, not that I did, but I probably did. I can't remember. So I thought a little sticker to say Reg was here. But then there'd be people who'd go, why is she saying that? You'd probably have to have been watching me for a while to realise I've named my nasty little bead needle here, Reginald. He had to get a name because he's always biting me. So how am I doing this? How do we attach this? Is there a hole? No. What's the good of these then? These come off of a necklace. There should be a hole. I thought that was a sure thing. Maybe Reg just can't go through that one. Possibly. I'm making Reg blunt by forcing him in. How about this one? Can we get the needle through? Well, that's a bit painful. Where is it? Oh, sorry, Reg. Can you get in there? Nope. I can see an entry point, but I think Reg is too... There, that's a good hole. Come on, Reg. There we go. Oh, I was thinking I've got these shells off of a necklace and I can't bloomin' stitch them on anything. That'd be a waste of time. The theory doesn't quite sound right, does it? I found the necklace at the counter at an op store, I don't know, thrift store. Oh, come on. There we go. So I've got a little shell in position. So now I just need to stitch around it some other bits and bobs. So I just want to anchor that, and I've got more shells here that I bought from, I think it was a $2 shop. I don't think it was Spotlight, guys. It might have been. I've had them for a little while. Maybe that one. And these look like they've got better holes in them at least. Yeah, that's going to sit there really well. Just a couple little shells. Oop, I've come back through the hole. Of course I did, because I didn't go to the bottom. Oh my goodness, stitching on shells. Who would have thought was so bloomin' hard? It's all right, I'll get them. Get up there, you little... I could be doing these pieces for the tourists, but boy, can you see me struggling with these beads? I'd lose interest too quick. Be like, nah, not for me. There we go, we got you now. It's just like sewing on a button. You've got to get a few stitches into them to get them to sit. All right, now I'm just going to come up beside it now, and let's have a look through some other bits. See, there's some clear beads, so I did have them handy. So they're here. And I've got even some pebbles. These are from Spotlight. We want to put some rocks, but I'm thinking along the lines of some little sequins. Which I think is going to be these. Oh, this is going to go everywhere. I don't know what the time is. I've probably been at this for a little bit. I need my beading tray. Where's my little bowl? Here it is. Let's just try and have a little bit of control here. Just a few. I need to pop them into a container. Okay. They're actually very similar to the ones that were on that little piece, so that's good. It's going to look like I've got a connection between the two areas. But I just want a couple little sparkles in there just to build up. Like that. So I'll just meander along this bottom edge of my piece, adding sequins, beads, the odd shell, maybe a pebble or two, just to connect all of that. I might stay away from that little bit there. That looks like where you could walk through to the beach. So keep that as just a track. I might go looking for some mustard beads. That could go, or like a dark gold. That could go in on this mustard. Just scoot across. And I might catch next this little bit of tatting, but I think you've got the general gist of where I'm going. How are we going for time? I thought maybe in my videos I could work on both journals in the one, but I don't think I can. Like, an hour is nothing in the slow stitch world. I think I will divide it up to focus on the Edith one, focus on the C one. Because could you imagine the mess on a table? Yeah, I can't do that. It'll be either or either depending on what I'm working on. So as for the cover here, maybe I can just talk about this one because I don't think I'll film another cover title page video. I just want to stitch into here a bit of bit more stitching like I did over here on this. It's like just adding, that could go on there too. Adding more bits, just building it up. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put that bit there, that bit of tatting. Nothing ever goes to waste, does it? So I won't do another video. I'm not sure when you're even watching this, you might actually have a prompt. I'm just not sure if the next Wednesday video gives us a prompt. So possibly my next video will be working on the next prompt, but we'll see. If not, there's plenty I can do on all of this. Now I'm not going to stitch the top of that down. I want it to sort of flap a little bit so that it looks like it is a bit dimensional, like there's distance between the bigger pieces at the back. Imagine a coral scene in all golds and neutrals. Oh, that would be beautiful. Now I'm just going to come up through some of these sequins and just catch them down. I'll keep stitching until I run out of thread, guys. It's nearly the hour anyway. Now I'm over here where that little cluster is, and I'll just methodically work through all the little beads that are on it and just put a stitch into them. Then I know they're not going to go anywhere because I did nibble it out of a bigger beaded piece, so it's possible they could come unthreaded. There's only a few. That'll catch that background fabric. I had a seagull land on my back fence the other day and squawk at me and take off. Don't see a lot of seagulls around. They're sort of out on the water's edge, but not inland like that. So I don't know if he'd lost his way or whatever. He didn't hang around. He just gave me a bit of lip and left. Never seen one in here. Even when we had the last house, which is closer to the water's edge of the ocean, but on the other side of the lake, never saw a seagull. Passing through, gave me some attitude. There we go, I've run out of thread. All right, guys, I'm going to bid you farewell because I need to undo that knot in order to release that thread so that I can knot off properly, securely. So I'll come back and do that. All right, so that's the plan. It's just now a little bit of embellishment around this bottom corner. Follow the waves with a little bit more beading. And this one, like I said, I'll just keep fiddling around with it as we wait for the next prompt. Just keep adding some interest to it. Every time I tidy up my desk, I find a morsel of something. I'm thinking, oh, I could stitch that on. There we go. So, yeah, thinking I could do a bit more floral work through here. So I might dig out those pieces and wind a little bit more through. I feel like I could make the words become more impacted by the plants and less obvious that the words are there. So soften it is, I think, is the word I'm looking for. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and see you in the next video. Bye.